Here, what would be the bigger statement to open the season, a Dallas win or an Eagles blowout?
Cowboys win. And I don't think it's particularly close. Like, if the Eagles blow out Dallas, that's what they're supposed to do. True. They're a touchdown favorite in the game. They're the Super Bowl champs. They get the banner. They're at home. They've got the best roster in all of football. There are very few questions about the Philadelphia Eagles. If they blow out Dallas, it will be business as usual, a continuation of last year, arguably the best organization in the NFL. Just keep on keeping on. If Dallas pulls off an upset in the opener, it's like, okay, McCarthy's gone, Schottenheimer's in, Dak is back healthy. The NFC East, which hasn't had a back-to-back division champ in a quarter century, is now like a wide-open three-team race with Washington, Philly, and Dallas inserting itself immediately into the conversation. Because the Cowboys last year, they were 3-5 with Dak Prescott. Like we talk about them like they were this team that just got decimated by injuries and fell off. They played half the season with the quarterback who was runner-up for MVP the year before. And Dak's got a lot to prove here, and he's been good against Philly, but he hasn't really played Jalen Hurts that often. Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott have only faced each other 3 times in their career. So if Dak comes back and is like, last year was an aberration, and I'm back to being me, and I'm back to beating the Eagles, well, then that puts Washington on notice. It puts Philly on notice, and the Cowboys will be on national TV almost all the time, like always. It's like, oh, wow, they're going to be a team to actually contend with. So I think it would be a much bigger statement if Dallas won.
A 9-4 record against Philly, and granted, he's been in the league a decent amount of time, in a few different iterations of that Eagle team. With 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. So there's just more of an opportunity to change the narrative for Dallas than there is.
No, I agree. It's clearly a Dallas win. It puts not only Washington and Philly on notice, it puts the whole league on notice that, hey, the Cowboys are back. Now, I wouldn't say they're going to win the NFC because that's not what they do. But it'd be like, okay, are they going to win 12 games, 13 games? Are they going to win the division? And so I agree with you. It'd be a huge statement for them, particularly doing it in Philly. Also, it would not only intrigue us about the Cowboys, it would make Philly more intriguing too. Because now we're wondering, is there another supernatural funk coming?
Oh.
Are they, because they've given no indication that they're going to get complacent. But you lose to Dallas at home. Now there become questions about them. Questions at least for a week, and it could continue if they don't, start winning games, about Jalen.
Okay. I want to keep this clip about the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll make a separate clip about the Philadelphia Eagles. Because, guys, this is the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. This is one of the best rivalries in all of sports, okay? And, yeah, the Eagles are reigning Super Bowl champions, and if Dallas goes into Philly and beats them, that'll be a huge win for Dallas. Doesn't put the league on notice. Doesn't put the Eagles or the Commanders on notice. This is how these divisional games often go. Did the Raiders put the Kansas City Chiefs on notice when they beat the Chiefs? They did not. So I think we need to, it's just, this is what we do with the Dallas Cowboys. It's like they win a game and everybody loses their mind and acts like this is it. This is the year. I remember last season when they beat the Cleveland Browns, and it was not even a good game. I watched the game and I was like, this was not a good game. Dak didn't really actually play that good. Like this was kind of ugly. They were kind of more fortunate to win, especially with the Cleveland Browns offense situation. And Cowboys fans got so mad at me for saying that. The Cleveland Browns are one of the best teams. They got one of the best defenses, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this team was clearly not good in terms of the Cleveland Browns. And so it's just like winning one game is not the case. Like, if there was this feeling that the Cowboys had momentum like the Baltimore Ravens had in 23, but then they come up short. And if they now beat the Kansas City Chiefs that on opening day, on the first game of the season, like, sure, then that would have been kind of like, this is interesting. But the Chiefs beat the Ravens. The Ravens made a handful of mistakes, weird coaching decisions, and you were just like, yep, This is the Ravens and this is the Chiefs. One's a very well-run team. The other one, I'm not so sure in real time. And it was like, yep, same old, same old. And in a lot of ways, same old with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The Philadelphia Eagles don't own the NFC East. This isn't a situation even with the Kansas City Chiefs where it's like, oh, well, they've owned their division for years. And so it's like now if the Broncos beat them or the Chargers beat them, it's like, oh, this is interesting. It's like it wouldn't shock anyone for the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Eagles. If they roll them or something, then for sure. And again, to be clear, I'm not saying that if they beat the Eagles, that it's like it means nothing. I'm not saying that either. Because I don't think that the Dallas Cowboys, it's so funny because as much as we can say like, oh, they're a circus or they're all over the place, like they're still competent. They still don't just they still don't just like collapse. And I don't think Dak Prescott is this top 5 elite quarterback. I don't think he's a bottom 5 quarterback either. And as much as Dak Prescott doesn't rise to the occasion in big games, especially in the playoffs, he certainly rises to the occasion against the Philadelphia Eagles. So, and I do think there'll be a lot of energy and a lot of focus for the Dallas Cowboys week 1 going up against Philly. New coach, newish roster now, new pieces. Dak Prescott coming back from being injured. Like, there's going to be a rallying cry for them to really be like, we're here to spoil the Philadelphia Eagles night. Right? Like, the Dallas Cowboys have so much more to fight for, which is why when the Kansas City Chiefs played the Baltimore Ravens, I was like, that's the Ravens rallying cry. Week 1, revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm expecting Lamar to go off. You got Derrick Henry now. I'm expecting Derrick Henry to be a monster. And like, that's not how that game unfolded. And it was just like what the Kansas City Chiefs did great is what they always do great. And they were able to win because of it. And what the Baltimore Ravens always struggle with, then they weren't able to win. It was the same old story. And I was just like, whoa, what the heck is this? And in a lot of ways, if the Eagles beat the Cowboys by a lot, or just, it's an easy win, it would almost be like, all right, that was probably in a lot of ways the best shot, the best punch, the most momentum that this Dallas Cowboys team could have brought to a game, and it wasn't enough. And in a lot of ways, like I said, we saw that completely unfold with the Baltimore Ravens in 24. It ended up being a perfect representation of who they were as a team in week 1. And I don't like to overreact to week 1 games either, honestly. I really don't. But it's like if the Eagles had a blowout win, I wouldn't be like, that's who they are. They're a great team. There's no funk. There's no this or that. It's just like, I don't know. I just don't think you can ever really truly make a statement in week 1. I think the media will go crazy if the Cowboys win, and the media will go crazy against the Philadelphia Eagles if the Cowboys win. But I just don't know if it ends up being a true statement. If the Cowboys and the Eagles were not in the same division, there was no history, like the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs, that would be completely different to me now. That would be 1,000% completely different to me. If it was like I'm trying to think of a team that they didn't beat in the playoffs. So not the Rams, not the Commanders, not the Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, perfect example. New quarterback, added some new pieces now, a team that people are kind of believe in. If the Minnesota Vikings week 1 beat the Eagles, like the Detroit Lions did against the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of years ago, it's like, okay, that means something now. Now you're like, huh. And that's what happened with the Detroit Lions when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You were like, yeah, Kelsey wasn't there, but like still, that was bold. And they had, I think it was a fake punt or fake field goal, whatever it was. I think it was a fake punt. And you're like, okay, this is the real deal, man. Dan Campbell's the real deal. This offense is the real deal. This defense plays tough, physical. Coaching is high level. You're like, okay. But that was, different conference, teams that don't face each other that much. Like it was a bigger statement. If the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl, which they did obviously in 23, and then in 24, they played the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders beat them, you would be like, that is definitely a little concerning from the Kansas City Chiefs. You'd have trust that they'd be able to kind of right this ship and figure out what happened, but the Raiders aren't putting anyone on notice. Maybe if it was the Chargers, new head coach, like, so that's what's kind of interesting about it. Maybe with the Broncos, new quarterback. So you'd be like, okay. And I think that's probably then where the Cowboys could get a little bit extra momentum, and you can't just explain it away of like, yeah, it was a division game, because you have a new head coach and you have a new defensive coordinator. And so if the defense really shows out and shows great, and Schottenheimer has a great offense and Dak looks comfortable, right? Like, I think it would all depend. At the end of the day, I think it would all depend on how truly the game unfolds and how is it a high quality win from the Dallas Cowboys. Do you say, whoa, that offense was smooth, and whoa, that defense was suffocating, right? Like, that play call was brilliant. Oh my God, in the second quarter with 3 minutes to go, that play call, oh my God. How was CD Lamb was wide open. Like, if you have those moments, then you could say, okay. But if it's just kind of like a win, and it's just kind of like a typical standard run-of-the-mill, tough physical divisional game, a game that we've seen between the Eagles and the Cowboys for like 30 years, I just think it would be, par for the course, honestly. I'm excited for it either way. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Dallas Cowboys? If they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, do you think it would be this big statement win? Do you think it would put the league on notice? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.